So are you a startup founder? Feeling like you're maybe shouting into the void on social media?
Yeah.
That organic reach just not really cutting it.
Yeah, I can feel that way sometimes. A real uphill battle.
Exactly. And look, if you're trying to give your social media profiles a bit of an initial boost, build up some credibility quickly, you might actually want to check out rapidboost.net. Just something to consider.
Good tip.
But today, we're diving deep into this guide, one you shared actually, specifically for startups like yours. The goal is using Facebook ads, to get noticed and drive growth, but without needing some massive budget.
Right. It promises a way to navigate that complex platform effectively.
So our mission here in this deep dive is really to pull out the key actionable insights from this guide. We want to help you understand if and maybe how Facebook ads can be that turbocharged route for your startup. We'll break down the core ideas without hopefully overwhelming you.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with the big question. Why should a startup, often running lean, limited resources, why even consider Facebook ads? Is it worth it?
That's, the fundamental question. And the guide lays out some pretty compelling points. I mean, first off, the sheer scale, it's huge.
Right, the number of users is just staggering.
Billions, over 3 billion monthly active users globally. That's a massive pool of potential customers. But, for startups, the real kicker isn't just the raw number.
So targeting, right?
Exactly. It's the ability to really pinpoint who you want to reach, that precision.
And this targeting, how granular can startups really get? Is it complicated?
Well, the guide stresses how detailed you can be and surprisingly accessible. You can focus ads based on demographics, age, location, education, job titles, relationship status, you name it.
Okay.
Then there are behaviors like what people buy, their travel habits, the kind of phone they use, and interests, of course. Everything from, say, organic food to sauce productivity tools.
So give me an example, like,
Okay, say you're targeting working mothers in Chicago who are interested in organic foods. You can do that. Or freelancers in Austin who are looking into sauce tools.
wow.
That level of detail, the guide makes clear, is available even if you don't have a huge ad budget.
That's definitely a world away from, like, putting an ad in the local paper. Yeah. What about the cost? Startups always worry about the budget.
Yeah, and rightly so. The guide highlights cost effectiveness and scalability as major plus points. You can literally start small, like test campaigns with just $1 a day or $5 a day.
Really?
Just $1.
Yep. See what happens, gather some initial data, see what resonates without, breaking the bank. Then, when you find something that works, a campaign delivering results, you can carefully scale up your spending on that specific campaign.
So it prevents just throwing money away hoping something sticks.
Exactly. Avoids overspending on stuff that's just not effective. Start lean, learn, then scale smart.
Okay, start lean, scale smart. Makes sense. The guide also mentioned data. Lots of data. How does that help a startup specifically? Oh, that's huge. The real-time feedback loop. Facebook's ad manager gives you incredibly detailed metrics on how your ads are doing.
Like what kind of metrics?
You can see who's seeing your ads, who's clicking, what actions they take after clicking, maybe visiting your site, signing up, buying something, all in near real time.
So you know pretty quickly if something's working or not.
Precisely. This immediate insight lets you make fast adjustments. Maybe tweak the ad image, change the headline, refine the audience targeting, even adjust your bidding strategy. It's about constant learning and optimizing based on actual data, not just, gut feeling.
So it's definitely not set it and forget it. You need to be actively involved.
Very much an active process, monitoring, tweaking, optimizing.
Okay. To make this more concrete, the guide had that case study, right? Green Sprout. What was their story?
Yeah, Green Sprout. They're a meal delivery startup in Denver focused on healthy meals, a great example. They targeted health-conscious parents specifically in their delivery zone.
Okay, specific audience.
And they cleverly used something called lookalike audiences. We can get more into that later. But the results were, pretty impressive.
What did they achieve?
They got a 5x return on their ad spend, 5 times. And that was within just 6 weeks.
Wow, 5x ROI.
Yeah. And they started small. Their initial budget was just $200. That generated $1,000 in revenue. It really shows how targeted ads, even with a small starting budget, can deliver significant results.
That really drives the point home.
Yeah.
Okay, so the potential is there. Massive reach, precision targeting, cost effectiveness, useful data.
Right.
But where does a startup actually start? The guide mentioned laying foundations. What are those first critical steps?
Right. The foundation is key. And the absolute first thing the guide emphasizes is having a clear objective. What do you actually want your ads to achieve?
Be specific, basically.
Exactly. Is it driving traffic to your website, building an email list, getting sales directly, maybe app installs? You need to define that goal first.
And Facebook helps with that.
Yes, Facebook actually offers specific campaign objectives that align with those goals. Things like brand awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, conversions. Choosing the right one is crucial because it tells Facebook's algorithm what you're aiming for, so it can optimize how your ads are shown.
Okay, so align the ad goal with the business goal. Makes sense. What's next for the foundation? The Facebook business page itself.
Absolutely vital. Your business page is often that first impression, right? So the guide stresses making it look professional and engaging.
Like your digital storefront.
Pretty much. That means crisp, high-quality profile and cover photos that reflect your brand. Clear call to action buttons, sign up, shop now, send message.
Easy for people to take the next step.
Right. And keeping all your business details, contact info, hours up to date, plus posting regularly engaging content that shows your expertise, your brand personality. It builds trust.
Okay, solid page. Got it. Then there's this thing, the Facebook pixel. Sounds a bit intimidating. What is that?
Yeah, the name sounds techy, but it's essentially just a little snippet of code. You put it on your website.
Okay, code on the website. What does it do?
It tracks what visitors do on your site after clicking an ad, or even just visiting. Things like, did they look at a product page? Did they add something to their cart? Did they sign up for a newsletter? Did they make a purchase? It sends that info back to Facebook.
Ah, so it connects Facebook activity with website activity.
Exactly. And this little piece of code unlocks some really powerful features.
Okay, like what? Why should a startup definitely install this pixel?
Well, first, it's absolutely essential for retargeting. We'll talk more about that, but it lets you show ads specifically to people who visited your site but didn't say buy anything.
Bringing them back.
Precisely. Second, it's fundamental for creating those lookalike audiences we mentioned, with Greensprout finding new people similar to your existing customers.
Got it.
And third, crucially, it lets you accurately measure your results, your conversion rates, your return on ad spend, ROAS. You can see exactly how much value your ads are driving.
So you know if the money you're spending is actually working.
Exactly. And the guide has a great tip. Install the pixel early, like as soon as your website is up, even if you're not running ads yet.
Why early?
Because it starts collecting data immediately. So when you do decide to run ads, you'll already have this pool of valuable audience data to work with. Historical data is gold.
Smart. Get the data engine running from day one.
Okay, foundation laid, clear objective, optimized page, pixel installed. Now, the really crucial part, figuring out who to show the ads to. The guide calls this defining and refining your audience. Key to ROI, it says.
Absolutely nailed it. The guide calls it the key to high ROI ads for a reason. We touch on the targeting tools, but this is where you really dig in.
Beyond just age and location.
Oh, yeah. Way beyond. Think about detailed interests, like specific magazines they read, influencers they follow, competitor pages they like, behaviors too. Are they frequent online shoppers? Do they travel internationally? Are they small business owners? Facebook knows a lot.
And then you can use custom audiences. This is where you upload your own data, like an email list from your newsletter subscribers or people who've used your app.
So you can target people you already have a relationship with.
Exactly. Or you can use that list to create lookalike audiences, finding new people who are really similar to your best existing customers or leads. The guide strongly recommends using any customer data you already have to give you insights for targeting right from the start.
Use what you know. Makes sense. The guide also talks about building startup personas. How does that help with audience targeting?
Personas help you get really specific. Instead of just women 25-34, you create a detailed picture of your ideal customer, maybe 2 or 3 key personas.
What kind of detail?
Think about their problems, their goals, their daily routines, where they hang out online, what kind of content they like. The more detailed, the better you can craft your message and choose the right targeting options on Facebook.
Okay, so it makes the targeting more human, less abstract.
Exactly. The guide gives an example of a fintech startup. They might have a persona for Sarah, the recent grad managing her first paycheck, and another for David, the young parent planning family investments. Very different needs, different messaging.
Right. You wouldn't talk to Sarah the same way you talk to David.
Precisely. Personas help you tailor everything.
And what about testing these audiences? The guide mentions testing.
Yeah, critical step. You don't always know upfront which exact audience slice will perform best. So the guide suggests maybe starting a bit broader with your targeting initially.
To cast a wider net first?
Kind of, to gather data across a slightly wider group. Then you watch the results closely, who's clicking, who's converting. Based on that data, you start narrowing down. You refine your targeting, focusing your budget on the segments that are actually delivering the goods.
So it's an ongoing process, not a one-time setup.
Definitely. It's iterative. Learn, refine, test again.
Okay, constantly learning. Right, so we know who we want to reach. Now, how do we actually make ads that grab their attention? The guide gets into crafting irresistible campaigns. What ad formats should startups consider?
Facebook gives you quite a few options, each with its strengths. The guide highlights the main ones. You've got simple image ads need a strong visual, clear message, clear call to action.
Straightforward.
Then video ads, great for demos, customer testimonials, quick explainers. Video tends to perform really well.
People like video.
They do. Then carousel ads, you can show multiple images or products in one ad. People can swipe through. Really good for e-commerce.
Showcasing variety.
Yep. Collection ads or shopping ads are even more immersive, like a mini storefront right in Facebook. And lead ads are super useful for getting signups, emails, phone numbers without the user even having to leave Facebook. Smooths the process.
Lots of choices. But what makes any of these formats actually work? What makes an ad irresistible?
It comes down to some core principles. First, the visual. It has to be good, high resolution, eye-catching, clearly branded. Whether it's an image or video, make it look professional. And avoid tons of text on the image itself. Facebook doesn't love that.
Okay, strong visuals. What about the words? The copy?
Keep it concise. Focus on the benefit to the customer, not just the features. Address their pain point, offer your solution, and absolutely always, always include a clear, direct call to action. Tell them exactly what you want them to do next.
Click here, learn more, shop now.
Exactly those. Make it obvious.
Can you give a quick example of that benefit-driven copy?
Sure. The guide used an example for, say, meal planning stress. Instead of just meal kits available, a better headline might be something like, stressed by meal planning, discover healthy dinners delivered tonight.
Ah, hits the pain point,
Yeah.
offers the solution.
Right. And the body copy could add more benefits like save hours each week. And then the call to action, order your first box now and get 20% off. It's about connecting with their need. And definitely test different versions of your copy. Small wording changes can make a big difference.
Testing again seems to be a theme.
Yeah.
So the guide breaks down a good ad into key parts. What's the anatomy?
Yeah. 4 key things usually make up an effective ad. 1,
Yeah.
a visual hook, something that stops the scroll. Bold colors, maybe faces, an intriguing product shot.
Grab attention.
2, the value proposition. What's in it for them? Communicated quickly and clearly.
State the benefit.
3, social proof, if you have it. Ratings, reviews, maybe join 10,000 happy customers.
Yeah, it builds trust.
Show credibility. And 4, that clear call to action, the specific instruction.
Got it. Hook, value, proof, action. Makes
Yeah.
sense. There was another case study about creative, right? The Sauce startup.
Yes, that was a great one. They were targeting real estate agents. They tested 2 ads. One was a generic image ad about efficiency, pretty standard stuff. The other was a short video testimonial, a real agent talking about how the software saved them hours and helped them close more deals, authenticity.
And the result?
The testimonial video crushed it. It got a 400% higher click-through rate than the generic image ad. 400%.
Whoa. That really shows the power of authenticity and proof.
Absolutely. Real stories from real users often resonate much more strongly.
Okay, compelling ads are designed. Now the money. Budgeting, bidding, making sure you're not just wasting cash. How much should a startup plan to spend initially?
The guide is clear, no magic number, but it suggests a good starting point for testing is somewhere in the $5 to $20 per day range.
Start small again.
Yep. The goal at first isn't massive scale, it's learning, gathering data, seeing what works with that small budget. Then, once you identify winning campaigns, you can gradually increase the spend on those.
Focus the budget on what's proven. The guide also mentioned a target number of conversions for the algorithm.
Ah, yes. A useful rule of thumb. Facebook's algorithm learns best when an ad set gets around 50 conversions per week.
50 per week.
Yeah, so if your goal is leads, you'd ideally aim for a budget that could potentially generate roughly 50 leads in a week for that ad set. It just gives the algorithm enough data points to really optimize effectively.
Helpful benchmark. Now, bidding sounds complicated. Automatic versus manual.
It can seem daunting. Automatic bidding is usually the way to go for beginners, the guide suggests. You set your budget, and Facebook tries to get you the most results possible within that budget, adjusting bids automatically.
So Facebook handles the bidding complexity.
Pretty much. Manual bidding gives you more control. You can set maximum bids per click or per conversion, but it requires more expertise and active management. Probably best left for when you're more experienced.
Okay, automatic sounds good for starting. So you're spending money, ads are running.
Yeah.
How do you know if it's working? Key metrics.
Right, measuring what matters. The guide highlights a few critical ones. Click-through rate, or CTR. What percentage of people who saw your ad actually clicked it? High CTR usually means relevance.
Good sign.
Cost per click, CPC. How much are you paying for each click on average? Lower is generally better, but needs context.
Okay.
Conversion rate. Of those who clicked, what percentage actually did the thing you wanted them to do, buy, sign up, whatever?
There's action that matters.
Exactly. And then return on ad spend, ROAS. For every dollar you spend on ads, how much revenue are you getting back? That's often the ultimate bottom line metric for e-commerce.
The big picture ROI.
Yep. The key is to focus on the metrics tied directly to your main objective, not just things like how many people saw the ad, impressions.
Focus on results, not just eyeballs. And A/B testing pops up again here. How does it apply to budgets and metrics?
Absolutely. A/B testing is your best friend for optimization. You test one thing at a time, maybe test automatic bidding versus a specific manual bid strategy, or test two different ad creatives to see which gets a better CTR or lower CPC, or test the same ad on two different audiences.
One change at a time.
Crucial. So you know exactly what caused the difference in results. Test headlines, images, calls to action, audiences, bidding. Always be testing something.
Continuous improvement. There was that final case study too, the fitness studio. How did they optimize?
Yeah, the LA Fitness Studio. They were spending money but not getting enough leads. Their initial CTR was low.
What did they change?
They did two main things. Refreshed their ad creative to be more appealing, and importantly, they really narrowed down their audience. They focused specifically on women aged 30-45 who had shown interest in group fitness.
Got much more specific.
Much more specific. And the impact was huge. They cut their cost per lead by 60% and doubled their signups within a month.
Wow. Just by refining the audience and creative.
It shows how powerful that combination is, aligning budget with the right audience and the right message.
Okay, powerful stuff. Now, towards the end, the guide talks about two advanced tactics: retargeting and lookalike audiences. Let's break those down. Retargeting first. Why is it so important?
Retargeting is huge because, as the guide points out, something like 98% of website visitors don't convert on their first visit. 98%.
Yeah, many. Wow.
Yeah. So retargeting lets you reconnect with that massive group who showed initial interest. They visited your site, maybe looked at a product, maybe added to cart but didn't finish.
How does it work?
Using the Facebook pixel data, you can show specific ads only to those people. Remind them about the product they viewed. Maybe offer a small discount to complete the purchase. Show them a testimonial to build more trust.
So it's like giving them a gentle nudge back.
Exactly. The guide says it's super effective for things like abandoned carts in e-commerce or getting people to finish signing up for a free trial. It's about nurturing those warm leads.
Smart. Don't let interested people just drift away. Okay, what about lookalike audiences? We mentioned them with Greensprout. How do they help startups grow?
Lookalikes are all about scaling efficiently. Once you have a good list of your existing customers or high-quality leads, could be from email signups, past purchases, you upload that list to Facebook, securely, of course.
Your seed audience.
Right. Facebook then analyzes the characteristics of those people, their demographics, interests, behaviors, and finds new people on Facebook who share those same characteristics.
So it finds more people like your best customers.
Exactly. It's a way to expand your reach to a relevant new audience that's statistically more likely to be interested in what you offer without just guessing or going super broad. The guide calls it scaling reach without losing targeting quality.
That sounds incredibly useful for growth. The EdTech example.
Yeah, they had just 300 email leads. Not a huge list, but they used it to create a 1% lookalike audience, meaning the top 1% of Facebook users in their target country who most resembled those leads. The result, their cost per lead dropped by 45% and the quality of the leads stayed high.
Impressive results from a small starting list. Shows the power.
Oh.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground from this guide. It wraps up with a step-by-step for launching that first campaign. Can you quickly recap those main steps for someone listening who's thinking, okay, I'm ready to try this?
Absolutely. Let's boil it down. Step 1, set clear objectives. Know what you want to achieve.
Goal first.
Step 2, Build or optimize your Facebook page. Make it professional, action-oriented.
Good storefront.
Step 3, install that Facebook pixel. Crucial for tracking and advanced targeting later.
Get the code in.
Step 4, define your audience. Use demographics, location, interests, behaviors. Start reasonably broad, maybe, then refine.
Know who you're talking to.
Step 5, choose your ad format. Maybe start simple image or video.
Keep it manageable.
Step 6, write powerful copy. Focus on benefits, strong call to action.
Compelling message.
Step 7, set a modest budget. $5, $10, $20 a day for testing. Don't go crazy initially.
Wonders.
Step 8, launch and monitor. Track those key metrics: CTR, CPC, conversions, ROAS.
Watch the data.
Step 9, test and optimize. Change one thing at a time based on the data.
Always be testing.
And step 10, scale the winners. Once you find what works, carefully increase the budget on those successful campaigns. And remember, the guide stresses that first campaign is mainly for learning. Expect to adapt.
Great summary. Set goals, get the tech right, know the audience. Create good content. Start small, monitor, test, optimize, scale. It's a process.
Exactly. An ongoing process of refinement, not a one-shot deal.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive into this guide. I feel like we've got a much clearer picture of how startups can actually use Facebook ads strategically. It's not just about boosting posts, is it?
Not at all. It's about leveraging powerful tools for targeted growth precision, audience selection, flexible budgets, data-driven decisions.
And the key takeaways seem to be: clear objectives are paramount, compelling creative is essential, the pixel is non-negotiable for serious tracking and targeting, and continuous testing is the name of the game. Plus, retargeting and lookalikes for scaling.
You've got it. Understanding those core principles and applying them consistently is how startups can really make Facebook ads work for them.
Okay, so for our final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. This guide gives a fantastic foundation, but the digital world changes fast, right? So think about your specific ideal customer. What's some aspect of their online behavior, maybe something subtle, not explicitly mentioned here, that you think could be really valuable to test in your first Facebook ads? How might you uncover that insight and use it to make your campaigns even smarter? It's all about that continuous learning about who your audience really is.